Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon and hello to everybody too.
They have to see and do before they really know.
It really makes you appreciate your home, where you come home, where you come from.
Ulukhaktok.
I think we'd like to try to keep this place going for our kids and our grandchildren.
The past few years I've been focusing on the songs and our names and trying to, talk about our families.
It was really amazing to see the trees and the plants and being able to go out with just a thin sweater or a jacket, the different climate.
I thought it was really, really awesome. And I really thought that because it was such a big place, I was really expecting to find really big stores. But I had fun, going around seeing places and realizing that all the buildings are made out of brick. Going into some of the places where it's really old, and it was so awesome. I've never seen places like that, and how close everything is. And these taxi drivers can get you anywhere, and because most of the time it's a one-way street.
And the traffic people are so cranky. They don't care if they're almost bumping you. They have time to yell and curse at you. Everybody's always mad and rushing somewhere. You don't have time to, stop and say. The traffic was the worst for me. It really drove me crazy. It really makes you appreciate your home,
Space.
where you come from.
One of the things that really stood out was how to get the birds. They were called kilamit out. And, they're the things you twirl and then you throw them at the birds or the ducks and they wrap around them and then they fall. The other one was the spear that sort of had these 3 prongs in the middle. That was really awesome. But at the same time, you're wondering, what did they ever use them for and that? And how did they use them? For what purposes? For what animals? And what time of the year? Those were all the things that came to my mind every time I see a tool or something that they use. I know some of them you can use year-round. Some of them you use seasonally. And some of them you use, I think, in certain types of weather and stuff like that. All those things always came into mind as soon as I saw the artifacts or the items that we're looking at. And I think the biggest thing that came to mind was every time I saw the tools that they used and were so much an essential part of their survival, how could they give up these things while it was their, survival gear? Maybe they thought what they got was a better bargain for it, maybe a knife or a pot or something else that they thought was more useful in trading with these items that were so awesome.
Yeah. Woohoo! Seeing through the eyes of people in 18-something.
I wish we had more time to have gotten through with a lot more elders to see if they recognize the tools and stuff, that were photographed. Because holy cow, all of these things that we saw are not seen or used anymore. Not a lot of them anyway. If you get the more information you get on them, the more we have to document for, the future generations. Not only for them, look at us, we're stumped with some of those items.
One of the most memorable items that I saw down there were the crimp shoes, because we had been looking for those for so long, and when we realized they were there, and we went down and we seen them on the first day. It was so emotional. Being able to touch them and see them and smell them and look at exactly how do you think they were made, how do you think the pattern was made, what they were made from, and who wore these last, and knowing they came from Prince Albert Sound, people of the large bay used them in the time frame that my great-great-great-grandparents were around that area. And the other item was that spear with the with the tattoo markings, the designs on that shaft part where they alternate from one side to the other. With these designs right here. Those designs on that shaft, on that harpoon, some sort of harpoon. Seeing that and looking at my great-grandmother's tattoos, photos of that and matching them, the similarities, that was really touching, like powerful to see things like that, knowing where those tools came from. The copper ulus and the copper needles, those were really significant from the stories where our elders told us how far they have to go and get copper for their tools, and the stories behind the copper hunting, how they make noise for people to find it, how they say people, copper sings or copper talks, so you can hear them. Hivanak doing.
Napaktara lugilugok. Now night kutigilak pagay piufao mignanifao mablugin. Napaktak pagay ngokay. Now night kutigilugilo. Tamay talitigumiali may namigin. Pifao malarome. Kannguyang mig. Napayok takunyak tat. Upafao. And they know that they're going to need some more of that copper material to make more tools or more ulus, and then they can see it sticking up out of the ground, and they'll know where it is, and then they can, get some more material from it to make more tools.
The drum and the drum dance clothing were just so amazing to see. That drum is so old, like looking at it and touching it, wondering what kinds of songs and celebrations it went to, how many people use that drum and whose drum was it, how many stories were told through drum songs using that drum. It was so amazing to see a drum so well preserved for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And so well made, and it's still to be in that condition where we could barely keep our own drums in that condition in this day and age. Those drums, like you said, they were so significant for celebrations, for preserving song and dance, and also to make up song and dance from the experiences they had so that they could be remembered and learned by the other singers and dancers.
Kuanak piak toi kayok takak palut nang tayo wuluki maksimayo ni kayok palut. Jesus, amen.
This is all material from the Hanbury collection.
I feel like I'm dreaming. I just got chills. Here we are starting to take a look at some of the tools that have come out. There's ulus, chisels, harpoon heads, arrowheads, needle. This is a very emotional day. Knowing that we're touching stuff that a grandparent made. It feels heavy. I assume that native copper is heavier than manufactured copper because of all the different minerals that are with it. The way that I was told, copper pushes itself out so the person could find it and use it for tools. The way I understand it, copper was considered a living being. And it sort of gives itself to you so you can use it to make tools. It's just like when we go hunting, an animal gives up its life so your family can eat and have clothing. And that's one of the things that we always tell our kids. After you go hunting and you've taken something down, you say thank you to it. So you can, for one thing that I always say when I get a muskox, I say, thank you for giving up your life so my family can eat. So copper it's just like a living thing.
Neviartunungaublutik hevanang neanut kennekhayut nani hivattunai kangaraalupingaublutik nuname kanmuiaqtareaqturaangami.
Yeah.
Uya kaneani akeani qalriani liumannap haniani kanguiaqarvia kangaraaluppihoaraangamik tuktuhiureartorrutik kannuyartarvian.
Kapihiliktuumi unerarriartut nunaata ilangani tahamani kannuyaraahuit amigaaliaktu takuvarrimai.
Kannuyaraat.
Kannutaavakahi?
Kannuya.
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 Mom, when she saw the picture of these scissors, she goes, oh, I wonder if we invented scissors too.
Aperiaugamikli pileokuyauplutige. Ateleokuplugit piptaktitaugamik kiviautinik pileohemai.
Kimale.
Yeah.
Small one big.
Ulukhaktok ai kimalet mikitkian.
Wow, kimadagadan nakikami.
And I mean, you can zoom right in as well.
Una kimadagaduay, kimade.
Unan. Niliyutaw na kayo.
Nekilikon una.
Iya, una nakilikon.
Nekilikon.
The most important thing about this collection is that while it's been here for 160 years, nobody has really written about it or documented it properly. So when we work with native communities, with Inuit people, what we want to do is obtain really good information about that collection so that it can go up on the web so that it's accessible to anybody, not just Inuit and not just Inuit from Canada, but people from all over the world. Some of them don't. So these ones were collected by this man called Hanbury, who was a private explorer who went up to the central Arctic a couple of times. And in his second visit in 1902, he went along the coast and he made a collection of about 60 things, beginning with the loon cap. And he stayed with people. It was in the spring and they were still out on the ice in snow houses, and he stayed with them and he took photographs of them, but we haven't found his photographs yet. Those will be the first photographs of Inuinnait. So today, when people have looked at the dance clothing, when they've looked at the copper knives, the pana, and they've been able to explain what the materials are, what is wolf skin and what is fawn skin from a caribou and what is an older caribou, and what is ugruk and what is bearded seal and what is not bearded seal, and all of those things, and describe all the different parts of a parka, of an amauti for a woman. All of that information is hugely important, and it's a really vital opportunity to have elders here today to be able to do that. Otherwise, we lose the information, and it's only by talking to people and doing this kind of project that the objects come alive. Okay.
These ones are Kangaryong mute, Dortorak Numiutik Ukwak, Numiutik Ivaktek, Atungang Mik Pileochimayon, Hamnatau Mitkoyachimayo, Dortorak Natta, Imaileo Mechochimayain, Malwinangok took Akog. Ulukhaktok Ulukhaktok Taipahuglu Ochealuk Ayuviaktok Okachimayok Taipahumit Ilihahome Taipahuk Tahamani Tilugu Ayuechautik Pago Ileoktaktu Lokihimi Taipahuk Anialang Matulektugun.
Takupcha regiga Shanilirauna Takupcha regiga Angaya Yangaya Eyanga
Lalungatsit pagtakot kanok Mehutika uktutika ayo khalerapta kanok ihumagivyo.
Taima tautukpo hiptiktut ihumagivaka ivertit piak pakumlugo. Ivertit piak kumlugo. Inuitakowaktakhat. Uwapting nakleima Ilihimayapting ni habang nitugot, ino alablog takubaga kanik, takubaga kamik, habang titaw na ako tugot. Kakijabya ako kitang lago. Ayaw nang nangano tikit patunid siya baka ay kakitigo.
Kanok daw, hapkod tayo nakaktun?
Hapkod tayo nakagaytun. Ate kakinak to kimi tuat to kaliglo. Una tuat to kaliglo, tuat to kaliglo.
Tuat to kaliglo uba.
Tuat to kaliglo uba kat kanay tok tuat tok. Kitira ko. Hamunat tok, hamunay naktok imatut. Mekokimayot. Ilagay ng walwak. Kalli na kalingmig daw tayo goktas. Una kalli na kalingmig tayo kukangan nito. Siya ni ngayon lingmig nung nakapagkamig. Avalivune mato sang nagsakpagpan. Away, ay, 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 tama, pilyak pagtay. Nuat katiging itatik, inminod pula ka ngamik. Ako'y magtugal ko hili inong nuna. Kay matok, ako'y ngamik, inya ngamik. Pitinik atok himay tunik, ato haktanik, ato limay piaktut, atok himay tunangnik, atok kami umit tunangnik, ato ahokil tuting numerahawayuk tut. Tay matapit ko hekaluangin. Kau yakaluawun ubagot, tau tupag takaluawun ubagot.
We refer sleeping words to words that are not being used anymore, or you don't have the opportunity to use the words because of the modern world we live in, and we don't see or do these activities anymore. A lot of the time, it's only when we're looking at traditional objects that these words come back.
Now not harong te unakimi. Now ligaut abun ekhabun piu.
So now ligaut is the term for throwing your harpoon. Dam na tau ikhat.
Ukahui ajikingin.
Ukahui ajikingin nami.
When the opportunity arises, we wake them up and then record them and make a note of them so that we know for what reason or what opportunity these words can be used.
So depending on which tribe or community you come from, then they either say ikhat or nauligaut.
Kangariang miut hapkwad numiutin, ukwak tuat Kangaro huwit ukwat numiutigi pagtay. Hapkwat kangaralo kafini ugiyo na kanara pagkapkit nalvaktay nakatka. Ilama hivulip taan nukaan utayt kangariang me. Ananatema mamata ingat tau miuplo ananatene haluhilo taipahuklo hapkuan anoang utait ikpakuharaklo higalok anorahe mayulipok sunitaw tulak pagkahe. Pihuarang amik Cook River mit ekakavelong mon tahamane tahapkuan ilay Ikaluptut te puanit pihoyulo Ulukhaktok miut kangeriang miut tiki katigi nga mighap kuning nga anoranik atohutik numakpek pealutik.
We carry the hats from Ogden Bay.
Where? Ogden Bay.
They're close to this region. This kind of style.
Yeah. Almost Lapland style.
Hamunga, mitko hamna imadiokam. Imadi mitko hamunga ay hapkunungan no ay. Ay unahan mo ngayon na mitko no. Imadi.
Kaki Mickey Velo. Kari inumi konek mayun nunak dom. Numiu daw yun nakiyaway.
Numiu daw nakiyaway.
Numiu daw
Ako ang tinaway.
Ako ang
Ako ang Teriakang mitagutay do.
Terianga mihiyon naktukiktoaki mayon nakigami ay.
Taki apko.
Ako ang may tigwit.
Na, ayaw ka makuha.
Ayaw tutita ko yan.
Kaya may liyok.
Daki.
Ako ang may tigwit. Fita. Oo nga ako ang may tigwit naman.
Maliyok.
Ay,
Very.
ha?
Moonwalk now.
Unat daw numiyot. Numiyot daw unat kang riyong miyutat numiyutan. Daw tong pagtakot pitsan eh. Pihuang megangamik tikiw tigangamik ikaluktu te miuluk kang riyong miuluk. Koklok tong miuluk no nami pihuagangamik numilerangamik hap kuninga ano akutik. Alehu lukao tigipluit nagyaylo uktu tekangit uktu taitpek tumik
Mekho. Pak. No, dat je ook toe tijd toen ik me golie maar.
Look at the niggas.
Ada kamang na imayo pag-upo sa po na imayo. Hakanok takitidang tayo imayo.
They just measure with their hands.
Flip it over.
Wala dito ang
Una kengot idagin na tatuk tumay. Kengot idagin na. Ano? Kengot idagin. Kalpanaw na ito.
You did ba? No. Must be Ulit daw kam.
Nagyok ako.
Nagyok ako.
Ilong mo kamayok.
Ham na idun mo kutin no ang hiratani ham na. You know, imaavalit ko may idun mong niyamat amigay. Ham na idun mo kutin no ang tuatun no.
I don't understand.
So the edge won't flip.
So the edge won't slip.
Curl in.
Okay.
That's why they put this on out inside. Something like that.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, I understand.
okay.
Look at
Bias tape mikpaluk to na.
You know the way they sew them long ago, sometimes the words get lost because we don't use them anymore because we don't have the opportunity to use the language. And so those words are disappearing. But when they put them into the language we understand today using the modern materials, that's when they come back.
This is sewn inside.
She just said it.
Idun mo kuta.
She said ilun movie kuta, and then only one she said ratata, and then
Yeah.
Tup amian kakon ham nakiyuk ilak top daw himabluni hanayaw himayo kikian daw.
112 years old.
that says Hudson.
1900.
Iglo o matakulo.
Oh, daw.
Can you lay it flat?
I'll hold it up this way.
I don't know.
As you can tell, I love holding them. W. Hudson Bay, presented by D. Hanbury, ESQ 1900.
Enticement dance me couple of nights down the cocktail. No milk, no milk, Emma, one more.
Maybe he can start on that.
Opponents.
Kano, no me katigi. No me katigi, dahil man, no me katigi ni no me katigi. No me katigi tama.
Tara nga militam na. Duniyaw lara nga mi kanok litayaw vakchok tam na. Daw tukimaya kalwa ka tam na. Tam na numero nga mi inung mut alam mo. Okay. Tam na ivalu.
Ani tiyo miraktak ko. Pekset angit rakom nutit ako yung kapipikset ako.
I gotta get my camera.
Be careful, be careful.
You come.
Are you holding it?
There you go. That should be right.
I'm too small to Yakuana. Guana, my dad too, and my granny. They're the good ones too from that. That's why I wanted to carry it and show it to my family, my kids. Make me feel good. Good. Something to take home. That's making me feel better. I feel good. There, I'm ready to go. Anwanga. Tema anwanga.
Anwa ikayuta. Anwa tawana. Oh, unataw anwa.
Hap ko ano mga kawi mga kita.
Mga kawi mga ito nga. Angat kong kaya karututiyami. Uy, karang na nga. Time na di ka ikarututiyami angat pagkimagalawang. Takuya kimanginak ko. Angat kumonip kaktaw na.
Duck bones,
Duck bones and
seal claws, seal skin. I'd say maybe a ritual to go with the animals that you're around, like probably to do with the marine mammal, this one. My brother-in-law and I have been trying to figure out how to make these.
16?
Yeah.
Una kita kamayo mikay.
21.
So one of the first.
Tu hapa kuma. Nagiyo uming mam nagiyo ini. Uming mam nagiyo ini. Pwede sila nakahamon kapag kangam kano kada. Unak kita ko okok man meho kima ko pektek pagay unak kanga. Tayo matuwa ko tuwa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I gotta go caribou hunting to get nagyuk.
Imay di ngayon kami. Kipuk di ngayon kami ay. Kipuk di ngayon na kami manay.
Atak kumangit ako na rin.
No, nagkutan na sa may hibuwa pa yung manahulog.
Yeah.
Unan na pinakatakimayo.
Tugtog nagyunay.
Tugtog nagyun.
Yeah.
But this is different.
Ia, una ikadukyo ko tiyong nami ay aho alamik dahil siya kako na kaya.
Alam tayo takapandayo.
Dahil
Ekarukyo tawin ng timyakyo tawin.
We're looking at these spears and we could not figure out why the spear had barbs here out in the middle. And then I just realized in case they miss the bird with the front part of the spear, they have a chance in the middle to catch it.
Now waktu dia awya micurai nguhan, now ya kami kami tukut tra September nguhan doni akasing nguhan doni talpatuak. Okpek tarak pamiu na kiu kak tarak pamiu.
I'm surprised there's bears here yet. I'm just surprised that the ladies never picked this part clean yet. It's a tough life. We're at Okpalik. So check out some willows. Just like down south when the leaves start turning green or yellow and falling off. That's when they lose most of their moisture or more of their moisture. Might be good to get some with a lot of moisture in them too for flexibility. Oh, that's it. It's tasty. Really tasty. I'll probably dry this stuff up for maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, see how it is after a while. This one's got a nice, not too bad bend to it.
So when you talk about drying them, how will you dry it? Indoors?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in my furnace room. I think that should be enough. I'll compare this one to a later fall one and I'll let you know. We had about 10 participants, both male and female, that were interested to come up and try to learn how to make the cable back traditional bows that we've seen in a museum in England. And we had about 15 maybe. And we made the wooden longbows with the braided sinew and made some arrows. The ones that I made have copper and caribou antler, as close as possible as I can make them to what we saw in England at the British Museum. I got to use it on muskox. This arrow still has the blood on it, and this arrow went into muskox. One out of caribou antler, and one with copper. And on the third shot, when I was gonna put the third arrow into the muskox, I heard the limb crack, so I can't really use his bow anymore. But I got to say I used it enough. Got to hit a muskox with it.
We're so thankful for partnerships, for having us go down to Britain to look at these items. It took a lot of years of planning and putting things together. NWT Literacy Council, ICRC, the museum in Britain, working so hard to get the crew from Ulukhaktok, ICS, and Literacy Council, the professor from Lethbridge, getting us all down there to go through the items. I'm so thankful for all the work and support they gave us to get us there.
Awaya tu sang naksak pagpan. Awalivunim matu sang naksak pagpan. Awaya ya 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 ya. Siya ngayuling ming nung nakakpagkaming. Awalivunim matu sang naksak pagpan. Awaya ya 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 ya.